everyone, welcome back to Scordemy NEET and this is Krishna Sharma. আৰু আমি তোমালোকৰ লগত কি কৰি আছিলো যে NEET crash course হয়নে তোমালোকৰ PYQs আৰু most expected questions আমি ডিসকাস কৰি আছিলো হয়নে নাই মই তোমালোকৰ zoology part টো চাই আছো সো আজি তোমালোকৰ হেতু সিৰিজৰে 6 lecture হ'ব zoology section ঠিক আছে আমি আজি কি কৰিম আজি আমি তোমালোকৰ 10টা chapter okay from your class 11 syllabus that is your chemical control and coordination neural control আৰু লগতে কি তোমালোকৰ locomotion and movement এই 3টা chapter combine কৰি আমি কিছুমান most expected questions আমি ডিসকাস কৰিম লগতে আমি PYQ format series আমি practice কৰিম ঠিক আছে okay so let's get started yes with the first question that is so first question okay answer is already given right anyways please ignore kora answer to ঠিক আছে answer to ignore kora swa so question number 1 ki hodise which part of the brain is the main coordination center for your reflex actions okay coordination center of reflex actions ki hoy yare kuntu part of paba tumaloke answer ki hobo forebrain hobo so brain or different parts anibo lagibo yare kane hoy na you have to know the different parts of brain there are mainly 3 parts right forebrain midbrain and hindbrain hoy na logote ami ki janu je forebrain is again divided into your 3 parts right that is your cerebrum tar pisot ki thalamus and hypothalamus and whereas your hindbrain is again divided into 3 parts that is your cerebellum pons and medulla oblongata ঠিক আছে আৰু midbrain তোমালোকৰ subdivision further subdivision নাই so এখিনি জানিব লাগিব ইয়াতে কি হৈছে এতিয়া আৰু লগতে কি জানিব লাগিব যে the function of each of the part of brain okay so here the answer will be your medulla oblongata ঠিক আছে medulla oblongata is a part of your hindbrain and this is the control center of all the involuntary reflex actions such as your coughing sneezing tar pisot respiration or the cardiovascular activities ঠিক আছে এইখিনি তোমালোকৰ reflex action or control center হয় so বহুতে confuse কৰে এটো question এনেকুৱা type of question বা if this question is being asked in a slightly different way কি হ'ব তোমালোকে ভাবিব পাৰা যে spinal cord hobo answer hoy na spinal cord nohoy spinal cord tumarako kihor control center hoy to spinal cord this is the control center of your reflex arc okay reflex arc not your reflex actions actually reflex action tumarako kone control kore this is the medulla oblongata of your hindbrain okay mona thakibo ekhini thik ase so next question okay next question is the gap between your two neurons the gap between your two neurons is known as your what তার মানে কি হয় দুটা নিউরনের মাজত এটা গ্যাপ থাকে হয় না আমি জানো there is a gap between two neurons and that gap is known as your synapse yes that gap is known as your synapse আৰু this is also known as your sometimes this is also known as your synaptic node ঠিক আছে synaptic node and what is the significance of synaptic node in your transmission of your impulse see synapse or synaptic node is the region where certain neurotransmitters such as your acetylcholine okay the most common neurotransmitter this is acetylcholine they are released in the synaptic node and this chemicals helps to transfer the impulse from one neuron to another neuron thus conveying the message okay thus conveying the message throughout the nervous tissue okay ঠিক আছে so synapse বুলি কোৱা হয় আৰু লগতে কি হয় so এখিনি আৰু মই কৈ দিছো regarding the structure of a neuron okay regarding the structure of a neuron each and every part of the nerve cell okay each and every part of a neuron and the functions from where they are being synthesized or what is the function এই গুটেখিনি বহুতে important হয় so তোমালোকৰ crystal clear picture ঢাকাটো খুবই দৰকাৰী ঠিক আছে when I am talking about your neuron ঠিক আছে আমি questions পাম আৰু ঠিক আছে regarding neuron দেখিবা question so এটো হল this question is done next question now Nisal bodies okay Nisal bodies are found in ki hoy Nisal bodies this is a structure found in where this is structure of your neuron yes definitely gom paisa is like Nisal bodies these are what these are certain dot like structures isn't it these are certain dot like structures found in your where you will find this aru Nisal granules ki hoy these are nothing but Nisals so keteba tumaloke ki paba Nisal bodies ba Nisal granules boli paba thik ase so confused no hoba it usually means the same only okay so Nisal bodies these are nothing but these are your rough endoplasmic reticulum okay what is that rough endoplasmic reticulum this is a type of your cell organelle that are that are responsible for your protein synthesis okay ঠিক আছে and you will find Nisal bodies in your cell body and dendrites yes cell body and dendrites of a neuron okay and cell body, this is also known as your what? This is also known as your cyton. ঠিক আছে? Cell body of a neuron, this is also known as your cyton. ঠিক আছে? Done? Okay? You will not find cell bodies in axon. Okay? ঠিক আছে? Axonot না পাবা, only dendrites আৰু cell body পাবা. Okay? Then okay, next question soa. Resting potential of nerve is, resting potential ki hobo? So please students don't mind, okay? Answer tumalok already ate by mistake, you know, ppt tumalokor dia hoise, anyways ignore kora, eneo ami, you know, answer to tumaloke eneo gom paba hoine nai, keneke solve koribo lage ba answer to hetu answer kyo correct hoy ami hekhini he jana to dorkari hoine, কোনটো আনসার কারেক্ট হয় তোমালোকক মই কই দিম এনেও, বাট কিয় হেতু কারেক্ট আনসার হয়, কিয় অপশন বি আনসার ইউ নো কারেক্ট হয়, কিয় অপশন সি কারেক্ট নহয়, হেতুহে জানাটো ইম্পর্টেন্ট হয়। সো এখিনি ইগনোর কৰিবা, ঠিক আছে? আই হোপ ইউ অল আর কমফর্টেবল। সো সোয়া, কামিং ব্যাক টু দ্য কোয়েশ্চন, দ্য রেস্টিং পটেনশিয়াল অফ নার্ভ ইজ this value you should know, okay? This is your minus 70, okay? Minus 70 MV, okay? Minus 70. So resting potential ki hoy jana, outside, okay? Outside the cell there is the more or you can say outside the cell the concentration of your sodium, okay? Concentration of your sodium is higher. Yes, concentration of sodium is higher, whereas inside the cell the concentration of your potassium will be higher. The concentration of your potassium will be higher. So these ionic, see, these are what? These are ions, right? These are ions, different ions, sodium and potassium. So this ionic imbalance creates a pressure difference, okay? It creates a pressure difference, and thus the what? The resting potential is always negative, okay? It is always negative. But when you can say when you are active, okay? When you are active, during that time the potential changes to your plus 30. Eto mone rakhiba, thik ase? Logote plus 30 MV, okay? Plus 30 eto hoy. So rest of thakile ki hoy? It is always negative, thik ase? The resting potential is always negative, whereas your active potential is always a positive value, okay? Active potential ki hoy? Opposite to hoy. Ki hobo etia? Potassium jabo outside the cell, sodium ahibo tumalokor kota ahibo inside the cell, okay? Thik ase? This concentration will again change, right? Okay, done. Then next question, a neuron is composed of, a neuron is composed of মানে কি হইছে, নিউরনৰ তোমালোকৰ কি parts দেখিবলৈ পোৱা হয়নে নাই? What you will find? You will find cell body, dendrites and axon. Yes, option A will be the correct answer. Yes, cell body, dendrites and axon, mainly these parts, these three are the main parts, হয় না? ঠিক আছে, এখিনি আমি জানো, এখিনি আমি বুজাব না লাগে। কি হয়, so dendrites কি হয়? Function of dendrites, dendrites receive the impulses, yes, from the other neuron or you can say from the previous neuron. তাৰ পিছত কি হয়, cell body যাব হেতু তোমাৰ impulse to, yes, electrical impulse, and cell body will process the information, okay? And in the cell body you will find also what? You will find nisl granules, yes, nisl granules and your nucleus, okay? After the, you know, after cell body has processed the information, then what happens? Okay, then what happens? The information will be passed away from the neuron through your axon. So axon will carry impulse away from the neuron to another neuron. Through where? Through which gap? Through the synaptic node, or you can say simply synapse. ঠিক আছে, এইখিনি হৈছে গুটেই তোমাৰ, you know, overview of your how nerve cells work together to convey an electrical impulse throughout the nervous tissues. Okay, ঠিক আছে? তাৰ পিছত okay, next question, which of the following is not a part of the hindbrain? কি হদিছে ইয়াতে? hindbrainৰ part কেটা হদিছে হয়নে নাই? মই তোমালোকক question number 1 ত কৈ দিলো হয়নে? question 1 already কলো যে different parts of the brain you have to know, then what? The functions of different parts of the brain, ঠিক আছে? এটা কি হদিছে সোয়া এতিয়া? এটা কি কৈছে যে which of the following is not a part of the hindbrain? Cerebellum, pons, medulla and hypothalamus. কি হবো? Answer option D will be the correct answer. Hypothalamus, this is a part of your forebrain, ঠিক আছে? Okay, whereas your cerebellum, pons and medulla, these are your part of your hindbrain. Na logote koason cerebellum or ki function hoy? Cerebellum, it is, you know, it is responsible for maintaining the balance and posture of the body, okay? Balancing control, you can say the control center of your balance and posture of the body, this is your cerebellum, ঠিক আছে? Whereas your pons and medulla, both these two regions, okay, of your hindbrain, they carry out your what? They are the control center of your reflex actions, such as mainly the involuntary actions such as your respiration, your digestion, then different cardiovascular activities, coughing, sneezing, okay? all these activities, the control center lies in the mainly these two region. Okay, mainly the medulla oblongata is being considered a control center, but pons, okay, this region also, this region also what contributes to this function. ঠিক আছে, whereas this hypothalamus this lies, this is your part of your forebrain, and this acts as an what? Endocrine gland. Okay, hypothalamus secretes many important hormones that are responsible for carrying out our physiological processes inside our body. ঠিক আছে, okay, done. Then next question, so specific receptors for neurotransmitters are present on specific receptors for neurotransmitters. Ki hoy neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters, I already kolu that these are nothing but these are certain chemicals found in your synaptic node or synapse that helps to convey the electrical impulse from one neuron to another neuron. Okay, eto koisilo hoy na. So kot thakibo eto? Kot thakibo? Eto post synaptic membrane thakibo hoy na? Post synaptic membrane, not presynaptic membrane. ঠিক আছে, এইটো নহয় আনসার, এটা জাস্ট তোমালোকক কনফিউজ কৰিব কাৰণে দিয়া হৈছে। অলৱেজ ইট ইজ পোষ্ট সিনাপ্টিক মেমব্ৰেন। ওকে, ডান। নেক্সট কুৱেশ্যন, a nerve impulse is transmitted from one neuron to another through junction called, okay, this question is being repeated, right? This question is repeated. Anyways, answer synapse hobo, etu question tomala repeat kora hoise। So students, yate moi tomak eta kotha kobole khoju je, so what happens sometimes you will see questions, okay, concept to same concept e hoy, kintu he concept por tomalok different way question huda hoise, hoy na nai? So hetu kane tomalok mane moi enuka questions ani disu jate তাহলে তোমালোকে দেখা যে চোৱা সেম বস্তু সুধিছে, ৰিগাৰ্ডিং সিনাপছ সুধিছে বা ৰিগাৰ্ডিং তোমালোকৰ কি সুধিছে, নিউৰোট্ৰান্সমিটাৰ সুধিছে, কিন্তু কুৱেশ্যনটো কেনেকৈ সুধিছে চোৱা, মানে ডিফাৰেণ্ট হয় নে নাই? কেতিয়াবা কি হ'ব, তোমালোকে এইটো কুৱেশ্যন তোমালোকে কনফিউজ হ'ব পাৰা, নহ'লে বা কি তোমালোকে বেলেগকৈ সুধিলে নিউৰোট্ৰান্সমিটাৰ বিষয়ে সুধিলে তোমালোকে কনফিউজ হ'ব পাৰে, কিন্তু আল্টিমেটলি তোমালোকৰ কনচেপ্ট এটা কনচেপ্টৰ পৰাই সুধিছে, হয় নে নাই? তো তোমালোকৰ এপ্ৰ'চটো কেনেকুৱা হ'ব লাগিব যে কনচেপ্টটো ভালকৈ ক্লিয়াৰ কৰা, no matter whatever questions you are being asked, তোমালোকে definitely 100% কৰিব পাৰিবা কাৰেক্টলি সেই কুৱেশ্যনটো। ঠিক আছে, হয় নে নাই? এইটো চ' নো দ্যাট এইটো কুৱেশ্যন তোমালোকৰ ৰিপিট হ'ল, বাট ষ্টিল তোমালোকক মই এইটো কাৰণে এইখিনি বুজাই দিছোঁ। ঠিক আছে, অ'কে। ইয়াতে কোৱাচোন এতিয়া নেক্সট তোমালোকৰ স্কোৱান চেলছ কি হয়? স্কোৱান চেলছ কোৱাচোন। স্কোৱান চেলছ দে সিন্থেসাইজ your what? Myelin sheath. Squam cells synthesize your myelin sheath, and myelin sheath are present in your where? Myelin sheath are present in your kot thakibo? In your axon. Yes, axon thake tumalokor myelin sheath, and these are what? Myelin sheath, they provide insulation. Okay, they provide insulation. Okay, ঠিক আছে। তাৰ পিছত nodes of Ranvier kot thake? Nodes of Ranvier, where you're going to find nodes of Ranvier? At the synapse again. Okay, at the synapse you're going to find nodes of Ranvier. ঠিক আছে, okay, done. Okay, next question then. Again কি সুধিছে? Okay, so hindbrain comprises of the, মানে তোমালোকৰ hindbrain আৰু পাৰ্ট কেটা সুধিছে দিয়া, হয় নে নাই? তাতে তোমালোকৰ প্ৰিভিয়াছ কুৱেশ্যন কি পাইছিলা? প্ৰিভিয়াছ কুৱেশ্যন আছিলে যে hindbrainত তোমালোকৰ কোনটো পাৰ্ট দেখিবলৈ নোপোৱা, হয় নে? আনসাৰটো কি আছিলে? তোমালোকৰ হাইপোথালামাছ আছিলে। ইয়াতে কি হ'ব? ইয়াতে তোমালোকক সুধিছে কোনকেটা পাৰ্ট দেখিবলৈ পোৱা, হয় নে? So questions can be asked in this manner, right? So you have to practice, isn't it? Okay, and তোমালোকক এটা মই ক'বলৈ খুজিছো, as a whole, human physiology unit, হয় নে? Human physiology unit is very important because in your question paper you can expect around 6 to 7 questions, okay? But এতিয়া চোৱা হেতু এন্টায়াৰ ইউনিটটো বিষয়ে কোৱা হৈছে, হয় নে? And that unit alone comprises your 7 chapters total, okay? 7 chapters. So এতিয়া এইটো চ্যাপ্টাৰ যদি আমি ধৰিবলৈ যাওঁ, ঠিক আছে, নিউৰাল কন্ট্ৰোল এণ্ড কোঅৰ্ডিনেশ্যন, ওকে, এই চ্যাপ্টাৰটো বিশেষকৈ ইমান এটা কুৱেশ্যনছ তোমালোকে PYQ যদি তোমালোকে উঠাই চোৱা, ওকে, PYQ সিৰিজ যদি উঠাই চোৱা, ইমান তোমালোকে কুৱেশ্যনছ নাপাবা, ঠিক আছে? কনচেন্ট্ৰেশ্যন অফ কুৱেশ্যনছ ডিৰেক্টলি ফ্ৰম অনলি দিছ চ্যাপ্টাৰ is a bit less in number, okay? So সেইকাৰণে মই কি ভাবিছোঁ তোমালোকৰ কনসেপ্ট কেনেকুৱা কনসেপ্টৰ পৰা সুধিছে, কোনটো এৰত সুধিছে তোমালোকৰ সেই কুৱেশ্যনছখিনি মই অকমান ৰিভ্যাম্প কৰি কিনে দিছোঁ তোমালোকক, ঠিক আছে? নট লাইক দ্য এক্সাক্ট কুৱেশ্যনছ ইউ আৰ গোইং টু ফাইণ্ড ইন ইয়ৰ পেপাৰ, ঠিক আছে? বাট এনেকুৱা কুৱেশ্যন সোধা হৈছে, কেইটামান কুৱেশ্যন তোমালোকৰ ডিৰেক্টলিও আছে, ঠিক আছে? নো ডাউট সাম কুৱেশ্যনছ আৰ বিং ডিৰেক্টলি টেকেন ফ্ৰম ইয়ৰ PYQs, ফ্ৰম ইয়ৰ NEET পেপাৰ, প্ৰিভিয়াছ পেপাৰ, বাট যিহেতু তোমালোকে এইটো চ্যাপ্টাৰ ইমান এটা কনচেন্ট্ৰেশ্যন নাই কুৱেশ্যনছৰ, অ'কে? So practice to koribo lagibo ami hei bole ami to ignore koribo noaro because as a whole this unit is very important, so you cannot ignore this in a chapter, right? Okay, so hetu kana questions bu dekhibole paba je questions will be asked from this part only. Okay, the questions that I am giving you here, okay, the questions will be asked from this part only. Yare bahe tumaloke belek concept questions na dekha ekhini chapter thik ase, so ekhini bhalke poha. Okay, ekhini moi tumalok majore extra kothao kolu because what only question solve kori thakileu no hobo, strategy janibo lagibo hone na kotha khini bujibo lagibo aru tumaloke keneke prepare koriba hekhini janibo lagibo. So hekane moi bhabilu ekhini kotha tumaloke jana to important. So classroom majote moi ekhini tumalok eta advice bolu kobo para advice dilu thik ase. Okay, coming back to questions wa ki hobo answer to, the answer will be your yes pons cerebellum and your medulla oblongata thik ase. So ei keta tumalokor ki hoy, all these are the parts of your hindbrain. Okay, hindbrain. Then the fibers that transmit impulses towards the cell body ki hodise yate. So again neuron tumalokor neuron structure to bikha hodise hoine na, the fibers that transmit impulses towards the cell body, these are mane cell body tumalokor cell body ki hoy, cell body this processes the information. So which part of the neuron actually transmits the impulses towards the cell body? Ki hobo answer? Dendrites hobo na na? Yes, dendrites. Yes, dendrites. Moi baru dia structure moi kori dibo na jao because tumalokor diasun time limited asai hone nai, to ami renit crash course fetch kori so thik ase. So dendrites hoy, dendrites will take information or impulses towards the cell body. Cell body is also known as your cyton. Tat ki papa tumaloke nisal granules papa. No doubt nisal granules are also found in your dendrites, but concentration is more in your cell body. Okay, thik ase, done. Okay, then next question, the specific receptor for neurotransmitter in a synapse are, okay, this question etu question repeat hoise thik ase, etu question repeat hoise, please ignore it. Next question now. Next question swa Graves disease bikha hodise na, Graves disease is caused by Graves disease. Etu ki hoy ki dekhibole poy etu disease Graves disease hole ki hobo, weight loss hobo na nai, weight loss hoy, bulging of eyes. So characteristic ki asile patient suffering or you can say person suffering from a Graves disease ami ki pohisilu, bulging of eyes, yes, weight loss, then excessive what, excessive BMR. Yes, hoine nai, yes, ki hoy etu condition to, ei condition to ki boli koy, Graves disease. This is also known as your hyperthyroidism. Okay, hyperthyroidism. So thyroid, okay, thyroid gland secretes your two hormones mainly. Okay, two primary hormones, that is your T3 or triiodothyronine and T4, that is your thyroxine. So mainly ei duta hormone secrete kore thik ase. Now what is the function of these two hormones? These two hormones mainly, okay, they regulate your basal metabolic rate, it is your BMR, basal metabolic rate, it is your BMR. Okay, and so basal metabolic rate jetia tumalokor ki hobo, jetia tumalokor increase hobo, what happens if basal metabolic rate this increases again? So again coming to my point, BMR is nothing but BMR, this is the energy. Okay, this is the energy utilized by your body when you are at rest. Okay, BMR is the energy utilized by your body when you are at rest. Okay, thik ase bujila. So etu ki kolu, etu thyroxine kolu na nai, thyroxine aru etu tumar triiodothyronine thik ase, both these are BMR BMR regulators. Eneke kobo para. Etia ki hobo, so if this thyroid hormone are secreted in a more than they are required, this hypersecretion thyroid hormone ki hobo etia ki hobo, tetia tumalokor BMR increase hobo, and when BMR increases, what will happen? Your basal metabolic rate will increase, your heart rate will increase, your weight loss, yes, weight loss will occur, then what, bulging of eyes is seen, isn't it? Ekhini dekhibole paba hoine na, ekhini gure ekhini tumaloke ki ekhini signs and symptoms dekhibole paba, and this condition is also known as your what, hyperthyroidism, nohole ba anata naam ki hoy, Graves disease. So answer will be your hypersecretion of your thyroid hormone. Thik ase, bujila Graves disease monot hobo, bujila Graves disease nothing but this is the hypersecretion of your thyroid hormone mainly, so thyroxine aru triiodothyronine. Thik ase. Now the opposite of this, what is this opposite of hyperthyroidism hypothyroidism হয় না না hypothyroidism কি হ'ব hypothyroidism তোমালোকৰ thyroid hormones will be secreted in less amount thus the basal metabolic rate will decrease okay it will decrease তেতিয়া কি হ'ব heart rate will decrease তোমালোকৰ weight will increase weight বাঢ়িব sluggishness হ'ব মানে কি laziness হ'ব inactive হ'ব মানুহটো ঠিক আছে okay these are the signs and symptoms আৰু লগতে এটা কথা চোৱা Graves disease and goiter মাজত confused নহবা ঠিক আছে Graves disease হয় তোমালোকৰ due to your overproduction of your thyroid hormone whereas your goiter disease this is caused due to your iodine deficiency okay this is caused due to iodine deficiency and iodine okay this is a mineral this is required by your thyroid hormone to synthesize your thyroid iodine is required by your thyroid gland to synthesize your thyroid hormone ঠিক আছে goiter is different okay Graves disease is different so I think this is clear মই গুটেখিনি তোমালোকক বুজাই দিলো thyroid gland বুজাই দিলো thyroid hormone বুজাই দিলো BMR বুজাই দিলো ঠিক আছে clear okay next question so next question is ki diabetes insipidus okay diabetes insipidus this is caused by deficiency of so what is the causative reason or what is the reason behind your diabetes insipidus কি হ'ব deficiency of acha yare tumalokor ki dia ase hormone dia ase sarita hormone dia ase and hodise je yate tumalokor kuntu hormone deficiency babe diabetes insipidus hoy answer is ADH antidiuretic hormone also known as a what another name is a vasopressin antidiuretic hormone is again produced by whom produced by your hypothalamus okay produced by your hypothalamus and secreted by your or you can say released by your posterior pituitary gland ঠিক আছে produced by your hypothalamus and released by your posterior pituitary gland ঠিক আছে এইখিনি জানিবা what is the function of ADH antidiuretic hormone the function of ADH is to absorb water retention urine concentration হয়নে না এইখিনি হয়নে না function so কি হয় তোমালোকৰ if ADH is secreted in less amount than required then what will happen then water will not be reabsorbed there will be no retention of water so excessive urination excessive thirst laziness এইখিনি হ'ব না নাই and this is nothing but this condition is known as your diabetes insipidus okay আৰু another one is what diabetes mellitus this is the most common type of diabetes yes কি হয় তাতে diabetes mellitus tumalokor insulin deficiency hoy okay insulin deficiency and in case of diabetes insipidus your ADH deficiency will occur okay diabetes mellitus is the most common type of diabetes ate tumalokor insulin deficiency howa babe ki hoy as we know that insulin hormone this is responsible for maintaining the blood glucose level so when there is a deficiency of insulin okay when insulin is not produced sufficiently in the body what happens the blood glucose levels they are what it increases okay it increases thus affecting all the vital organs of the body okay so this is a metabolic disorder okay diabetes as a whole this is a metabolic disorder okay ঠিক আছে next question fight or flight response কি বুলি কওঁ আমি fight বা flight emergency response বুলি ক'ব পাৰা emergency response is due to emergency response তোমালোকৰ কোনটো হৰমনে কৰে first of all মোক হৰমনটো কোৱাচোন hormone which hormone is responsible for producing your fight or flight or emergency response this is your the very you can say famous hormone you can say yes adrenaline হয়নে নাই adrenaline rush বুলি কোনে নাই আমি adrenaline rush yes adrenaline rush হয়নে নাই আমি কওঁ so this is known as your fight hormone fight বা flight or you can say emergency hormone yes remember this name it is very important and adrenaline is secreted by whom kune secrete kore eto which gland it is your adrenal gland but which adrenal gland duta ase ete so adrenal medulla adrenal cortex this is your adrenal medulla yes answer is adrenal medulla so adrenal medulla so adrenal glands you will find these glands above your kidney okay one pair that means two glands above both the kidneys and one is known as your adrenal cortex another is known as your adrenal medulla adrenal cortex secretes your cortisol aldosterone ঠিক আছে whereas adrenal medulla secretes your adrenaline and noradrenaline ঠিক আছে হবো done okay and see why adrenaline this is known as your emergency hormone or you can say fight or known for producing your fight or flight response because when you are at stress, when your body is at stress or you are doing something, very strenuous activity, what happens? This hormone is going to increase your heart rate. Increase your heart rate does increasing your oxygen supply, increasing your blood flow. Yes, then that is the reason why, when you are doing heavy exercises, sometimes what happens? Sometimes you experience your difficulty in breathing. Not difficulty in breathing, actually your breathing rate increases. Yes, so this is how adrenaline helps us to produce a emergency response during a situations of stress. Okay, ঠিক আছে, it is very important. Which hormone is known as an emergency hormone? So aru question to ahi gol. Yes, adrenaline. মই তোমাক হেতু কোৱেশ্চন বুজালো, হেতু কোৱেশ্চন তোমালোকক মই এটু কোৱেশ্চন কৰি দিলো, মানে অলৰেডি হয়নে নাই, একেলগে এটু কোৱেশ্চন কৰি দিলো প্ৰিভিয়াছ কোৱেশ্চনটো। ঠিক আছে, আমি আৰু ডিসকাস নকৰো ইয়াতে। ঠিক আছে, সো বাকি হৰমন কেইটা চোৱাচোন এবাৰ, বাকি কেইটা জানানে নাই? থাইৰক্সিন মই বুজালো, কি হয় থাইৰক্সিন, হ'ব কোনে সিক্ৰেট কৰে, কি ফাংচন বুজালো মই, ইনসুলিন বুজালো মই, হয়নে নাই? ইনসুলিন, দিস ইজ your blood glucose level regulator. Okay, and deficiency of insulin will cause your diabetes mellitus, the very common type of diabetes. Okay, cortisol ki hoy? Cortisol again, this is secreted by your eimatro kolomo adrenal cortex, and this is a what? This is again a stress hormone. Okay, this is for you can say stress accumulation. Etu tumalokor hetu mainly stress tumalokor regulate korai kaam hoy cortisol. ঠিক আছে, okay, done. Then next question, melatonin. Melatonin, this is secreted by which gland? কোনটো গ্ল্যান্ডে সিক্রেট কৰে? সো দুটা আছে ইয়াতে হা। এগেইন মেলাটনিন আৰু মেলানিন দুটা বেলেগ বেলেগ হৰমন হয়, হয়নে? মেলাটনিন আৰু কি এটা মেলানিন, হয়নে? মেলানিন। সো মেলানিন ইজ ডিফাৰেণ্ট। ওকে, মেলানিন তোমালোকৰ স্কিন পিগমেন্ট হয়, পিগমেন্টেশন অফ স্কিন তোমালোকৰ যোনটো হৰমনে কৰে সেইটো হৈছে তোমাৰ মেলানিন। Whereas a melatonin, this is responsible for your maintaining your sleep-wake cycle of the body. Okay, and this is secreted by your pineal gland. Yes, sorry, melatonin, this is secreted by your pineal gland. Yes, and it regulates your sleep-wake cycle, your biological clock, your circadian rhythm. ঠিক আছে, এই গোটেইখিনি ফাংশন বা এই গোটেইখিনি আমাৰ ফিজিওলজিক্যাল এক্টিভিটিজ বাবে মেলাটনিন হৰমন ইজ ৰেসপন্সিবল। ওকে, হ'ব, মনত থাকিব। মেলানিন নহয় দে হা, মেলানিন লগত কনফিউজ নকৰিবা। এণ্ড বহুত মানে এইটো বহুত কমন মিষ্টেক হয়, কমন এৰৰ হয়, ইউজুৱেলি তোমালোকে কৰা বা ইউজুৱেলি কেতিয়াবা আমাৰো হৈ যায়, হয়নে নাই? শুনিবলৈ একে। য়েছ, চ' এনেকুৱা চোৱা, যেতিয়া কিছুমান তোমালোকে টাৰ্মছ পাবা, হ'ব, কিছুমান টাৰ্মছ পাবা য'ত তোমালোকৰ অলমোষ্ট সাউন্ড সিমিলার, সেই কোৱেশ্চন তোমালোকে বেছিকে মানে ফোকাস দিবা। ঠিক আছে, প্ৰেক্টিস কৰিবা, লিখি কিনে প্ৰেক্টিস কৰিবা। এতিয়া কি হয় তোমালোকৰ, এতিয়া তোমালোকৰ মনত ৰাখিবলৈ ইজি হয়, হয়নে? ইন মাই প্ৰিভিয়াছ লেকচাৰ আৰু এনেকুৱা আমি এটা বস্তু পাইছিলো, ৰেনিন পাইছিলো, মনত আছে নে নাই? ৰেনিন মই কৈ আছো চোৱা, জাষ্ট আ ৰিমাইণ্ডাৰ। এটা এইটো পাইছিলো, হয়নে? আৰু এটা কি পাইছিলো? এটা এইটো পাইছিলো নে নাই? ৰেনিন এইটোতো একেবাৰে সিমিলাৰ হয়, জাষ্ট আ ডিফাৰেন্স ইন ইয়ৰ ৱৰ্ড, আ ডিফাৰেন্স ইন ইয়ৰ লেটাৰ। এইটো কি আছিলে? সিঙ্গল এনটো কি আছিলে? RENIN কি আছিলে? এইটো দিস ওয়াজ আ হৰমোন। ওকে, ইন ইয়ৰ কিডনিজ, জাক্সটাগ্লোমেৰুলাৰ এপাৰেটাছ JGA, তাতে তোমালোকৰ কি কৰে? ৰাছ মেকানিজমটো কৰে, হয়নে? ফৰ ইয়ৰ কনচেন্ট্ৰেশ্যন অফ ইউৰিন। মনত পৰিছে? whereas renin য'ত তোমালোকৰ ডাবল N পাবা, this was what? This was nothing but this was your milk protein digesting enzyme. Okay, milk protein কি হয়? casein. Okay, caseinogen তোমালোকৰ inactive হয় আৰু casein তোমালোকৰ active stage to হয়। ঠিক আছে, so renin you will find this is an enzyme that helps to digest the milk protein in your infant. Okay, ঠিক আছে, এনেকুৱা তোমালোকে বস্তুবোৰ কি কৰিবা? লিখিবা, লিখি কিনে then note it down, তেতিয়া তোমালোকৰ confusion to clear হ'ব। ঠিক আছে, okay, next question, which hormone regulates your BMR, basal metabolic rate মানে BMR, হয়নে? এটো মই বুজালো অকমান আগত। BMR কোনে ৰেগুলেট কৰে? BMR is regulated by your thyroxine. Yes, thyroxine. Thyroxine তোমালোকৰ কি হয়? T4 বুলি ডিনোট কৰা হয়। T4 বা thyroxine, this hormone is responsible for regulating your basal metabolic rate and secreted by your what? Secreted by your thyroid gland. Okay, and deficiency of thyroxine will cause your hypothyroidism. Okay, and whereas your over secretion, that is hyperthyroidism, this is known as your Graves' disease. ঠিক আছে, done. এটা বস্তু কোৱাচোন, growth hormone, very important. It is secreted by growth hormone তোমালোকৰ GH বুলি পাবা shortত ঠিক আছে growth hormone secreted by your কোনে secrete কৰে pituitary gland yes pituitary gland is responsible for secreting your growth hormone ঠিক আছে important okay next question now match the following so you have to match the list 1 with your list 2 okay so ঠিক আছে এটা বাৰু answer দিয়া নাই হ'ব বাৰু এবাৰ answer দিয়া নাই so কি দিয়া আছে different hormones দিয়া আছে cortisol aldosterone cholecystokinin and progesterone কি হ'ব এটা match কৰাচোন list 2 লগত first কি দিয়া আছে cortisol so cortisol কি হ'ব cortisol will be first of all so এনেকুৱা question পালে কি পাব কি কৰিবা তোমালোকে cortisol বা aldosterone so aldosterone to I think সকলোৱে জানা এটো মনত ৰাখাটো important হয় aldosterone this is secreted by your adrenal medulla and this is responsible for retention of water হয়নে নাই reabsorption of retention বা reabsorption of water এটো হ'ব না নাই yes reabsorption of sodium and water mainly water হয় হা mainly water হয় but sodium ও তোমালোকৰ absorb হয় ঠিক আছে aldosterone reabsorption of your sodium and water whereas your antidiuretic hormone is solely responsible for your reabsorption of your water ঠিক আছে ADH আৰু aldosterone মাজত again confuse নকৰিবা ঠিক আছে aldosterone হল তাৰ পিছত cholecystokinin কি হয় আমি পঢ়িছিলো লাস্ট ক্লাছত cholecystokinin তা secretin what secret হয় তোমালোকে দুটা in your intestine small intestine what does it do cholecystokinin will stimulate the pancreas to release pancreatic digestive enzyme হয় না এটো হ'ব সোয়া pancreatic enzyme secretion তোমালোকৰ stimulate কৰে and this is released where cholecystokinin or you can say CSK in short this is secreted in your small intestine ঠিক আছে যে cortisol to কোৱাচোন পাৰিবা cortisol কি হয় cortisol this is a anti-inflammatory reaction yes cortisol this is responsible for producing your anti-inflammatory reaction and your stress regulation because দুইটাই হয় হ'ব মানে তুমি এটো অপশন কোৱা নাছিল হয়নে অকমান আগত বুজাওতে এটো মই কোৱা নাছিল ফাংশন টো so cortisol this is also responsible for your anti-inflammatory reaction and your stress regulation okay দুইটা হয় lastly progesterone for your alveolar development মানে কি alveolar development কোড কৈছে progesterone this is a we know that this is a pregnancy hormone and during pregnancy the mammary glands develop yes or you can say development of mammary glands starts so in the mammary glands you will find what you will find alveoli you will find duct lactiferous duct in your alveoli what happens alveoli these are responsible for producing synthesizing milk yes and the lactiferous duct carry this milk through your from your mammary gland to your what to your infant mouth yes when the infant suckles on the nipple then the what happens the milk from the mammary glands through lactiferous ducts it travels to the infant body thus fulfilling the nutritional requirements of the infant okay so কি হ'ব alveolar development কোনে help কৰে progesterone help কৰে লগতে oxytocin and কি হয় oxytocin this stimulates the secretion of milk and prolactin this helps in the synthesis of milk ঠিক আছে মনত হ'ল এইখিনি গুটেখিনি গদিলো মই লগতে হ'ব done then question number okay next question soa the contractile protein of thin filament কি হদিছে এটো কোনটো চ্যাপ্টার বিষয় হদিছে কোনটো কোশ্চেন মানে কোনটো টপিক বিষয় হদিছে about your muscle fiber হয় না the unit of your muscle fiber is কি হয় sarcomere হয় না তাতে আমি কি পাও দুটা ফিলামেন্ট পাও thin filament আৰু thick filament yes thin filament কি protein পাবা actin পাবা troponin পাবা tropomyosin পাবা লগতে thick filament কি পাবা myosin পাবা হয় না এখিনি আছিল so the actual contractile protein of your thin filament is your actin protein okay actin হ'ব ঠিক আছে troponin tropomyosin নহয় actin protein done next question soa during muscle contraction which remains constant muscle contraction কেনেকৈ হয় দুটা sarcomere মাজত হয় না দুটা sarcomere মাজত হয় I band থাকে A band থাকে H zone থাকে so when two sarcomeres contract okay when two sarcomeres contract what happens then কি হয় তেতিয়া এই তোমালোকৰ A band constant থাকে হয়নে নাই A band remains constant তোমালোকৰ H zone আৰু I band contract হয় না I band আৰু H zone contract হয় whereas your A band will always remain constant thus allowing the muscles to contract and relax simultaneously, and this contraction and relaxation helps us to move our muscles, move our skeletal muscles. Okay, episode the joint between your atlas and axis is atlas and axis. What paba eketa joint er bikhe hodise hoy na atlas and axis ei dutar majo tumalokor jonto joint thake he joint to ki type of joint hoy, what type of joint you will find between your atlas and axis. Atlas ki hoy, first of all question, what is atlas? Atlas, this is cervical vertebra what 1, okay, whereas your axis cervical vertebra, this is your cervical vertebra 3. Okay, so between these two the joint is known as your pivot joint, and this joint helps us to move our head left and right. Okay, limited movement, this movement is limited, we cannot move our head in 360 degree or even you can say 180 degree, we can just move our head in left and right. Okay, ठीक है sir, this type of joint is your pivot joint. Okay, pivot joint. Next, what total number of bones in an adult human is? Again, very easy question. Very easy question. Janibo lage hokolue. The total number of bones in an adult human, this is your 206. 206. Whereas the number of bones in a newborn, kiman hoy? Newborn baby, it is above 300. It is above 333. Tenuka thik ase tumalokor exact kobole olop tan hoy because so dekhile na this difference. A newborn will have more than 300 plus bones, whereas when the child reaches to adult stage, the bones decrease and it becomes 206. So what does it mean? It means that many of the bones of the infant stage gets fused. It gets 2-3 bones get fused together to form one single bone. Etia tumalokor yate soa 206 bones tumalokor junto thake monot rakhiba. Skeleton, yes, skeleton, two types of skeleton thake, মানে two types no actually, it is divided into two parts jate amar calculate koribole easy hoy. So enike mon rakhiba division to exoskeleton, thik ase, exoskeleton total how many bones? Total this is your 80 bones. Okay, whereas your appendicular skeleton, okay, appendicular skeleton tumalokor kiman thake total, this is 126 bones. Okay, 126. So 80 plus 126 total kiman hobo 206 bones. Okay, 206 for ekhini tumalokor division monot rakhiba. Exoskeleton 80 bones, appendicular 126 bones. Okay, next one, muscular dystrophy is characterized by muscular dystrophy. This is what? This is a medical condition. Okay, ki hoy etu muscular dystrophy? It is a type of your genetic disorder. Okay, this is a type of your what? Genetic disorder, isn't it? And this is caused by what? This is caused by your progressive degeneration of what? Skeletal muscles. Yes, progressive degeneration of your skeletal muscles, and this is a your genetic disorder. ঠিক আছে, এটো তোমালোকৰ কি হয় genetic disorder, usually এটো তোমালোকৰ permanent cure না থাকে, হয়নে? permanent cure না থাকে, হ'ব? ঠিক আছে, মনত ৰাখিবা এটো muscular dystrophy, very commonly asked questions সোধা হয় তোমালোকে match the following পাবা কেতিয়াবা, the different different medical conditions, or you can say different defects in your skeletal system. সেইখিনি তোমালোকে গুটেখিনি কন্ডিশন ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট হয়, আমি কৰিম এনেকুৱা কোৱেশ্চন, ঠিক আছে, আমি কৰিম তেনেকুৱা কোৱেশ্চন দেখিবলৈ পাবা, এই গুটেখিনি তোমালোকে ভালকে মনত ৰাখিবা। সো ইয়াতে বেছি বিশেষ একো বুজাবলৈ নাই, মাস্কুলাৰ ডিস্ট্ৰফি মনত ৰাখিবা। কজেটিভ এজেন্ট কি হয়, আৰু কিছু কজেটিভ এজেন্ট নহয় একচুয়ালি, the cause behind muscular dystrophy is nothing but this is a genetic disorder। আৰু ইয়াতে কি হয় তোমালোকৰ কি দেখিবলৈ পাবা, you will see progressive degeneration of skeletal muscles। তাৰ মানে কি হয়, skeletal muscles become very weak in this kind of people, they are unable to perform your day-to-day life activities, ultimately they become your bedridden patient, হয় না? ultimately they become your bedridden patient। okay, next, which of the following decreases during your muscle contraction? again কি হয় দিছে তোমালোকৰ muscle contraction, তোমাৰ sliding filament theory, হয় না? sliding filament theory কি পঢ়িছিলো আমি, যে a band will remain constant when to sarcomeres, sarcomeres ki hoy, sarcomeres this is a unit of your muscle fiber, and sarcomere is responsible for bringing out your contraction and relaxation in your skeletal muscles। so when two sarcomeres they contract, what happens when they contract, te ki hobo tumalokor kuntu zone decrease hoy, it will decrease your H zone hoine na H zone gets decreased whereas your A band will remain always it will always remain your constant thik ase and this is how okay this is how your contraction takes place thik ase okay so contraction usually ki hoy tumaloko duta z line majot hoine nai between two z lines usually the contraction occurs thik ase okay and then next the functional unit of muscle contraction this is a sarcomere hoine nai sarcomere to janiba hokole janibo lagibo sarcomere thik ase to jeneke ame functional unit of ki pao functional unit of your life pao that is your cell functional unit of your nervous tissue ki hoy neuron functional unit of your kidney ki hoy nephrons similarly functional unit of your muscle contraction or you can say simply muscle contraction ba tumalako muscle fiber jodi dia thake same hobo answer is your sarcomere okay next gout okay gout is caused due to again what is gout this is a medical condition a disease condition gout will be caused due to your ki hobo uric acid accumulation in your joint ki hobo jana gout disease tumalokor again this is a type of a metabolic disorder so uric acid ki hoy this is mainly a nitrogenous waste that is being removed by our body so when our kidney or when our the you can say excretory organ is not working properly then this uric acid okay in the form of crystals okay in the form of crystals they are accumulated in the joints and this is very painful okay this is very painful for the patient this condition is nothing but this is known as your gout disease okay this condition is known as gout disease and students okay one and more important fact here the males okay the males are more prone to this gout disease okay they are vulnerable to suffering from your gout disease okay thik ase enuka nohoy je women that no hobo females will not suffer but some there are some diseases that are more common to your specific gender so gout is more common to your male okay not female then next question swa muscle fiber is multinucleated because ami to janu jetia ami type of muscles pohisilu na sorry yes type of muscles skeletal muscles then your cardiac muscles then your smooth muscles tat ami paisilu na hoine na is a muscle fiber these are usually multinucleated why it is multinucleated kya reason is it is a syncytium yeah okay it is a syncytium tar mane ki hoy what does it mean it means that muscle fibers are developed from your multiple embryonic layers okay they develop from your multiple embryonic layers during your tar mane tumalokor ki ko pare germ layers yes when your embryo is being formed when your two cells combine to form your zygote during your embryonic stage itself muscle fibers are formed from your multiple embryonic layers thus they are multinucleated okay thus they are multinucleated okay and also swan since they are multinucleated okay and we know that in the nucleus okay in the nucleus what happens you will find ATP is stored or you can say ATP stored hoy jano na mitochondria hoy demo koba ha tumalage okay this is a homework for you thik ase ekhini mok koba anyway so here the answer is your option A it is a syncytium and what does it mean it means that muscle fibers are developed from your multiple germ layers or you can say multiple embryonic layers so they are multinucleated okay you will find many nucleus next synovial joint are characterized by presence of synovial cavity absence of cavity fibrous tissue only cartilage only ki baba synovial joint kot thake first of all etu question mok synovial joint you will find in your elbow yes you will find in your elbow synovial joint hoine nai so we can move our elbow yes this is our flexible not like it is not 360 degree flexible but still we can move our elbow joint and this shows that there is a cavity present yes synovial joint are characterized by your presence of your synovial cavity and this is the reason why we are able to move this kind of joint freely okay we are able to move this kind of joint ঠিক আছে pivot joint কি আছিল pivot joint বহুত লিমিটেড মুভমেন্ট আছিল তাতকৈ তোমালকৰ synovial joint তোমালকৰ মুভমেন্ট টো অকমান বেছি দেখিবল পাবা ডিগ্ৰী অফ মুভমেন্ট ইজ স্লাইটলি হায়াৰ next question osteoporosis is characterized by osteoporosis মই কৈছিলো নহয় এখানে তোমালোকৰ the deficiency or you can say the disease condition of your this chapter that your skeletal system or muscles এখানে বহুত important হয় different conditions different medical condition এখানে ভালকে চাবা গাউট হল তোমালোকৰ tetanus এটা আছে tetanus আছে তোমালোকৰ then myasthenia gravis আছে এটা তাৰ পিছত এটা তোমালোকৰ কি আছিল অকমান আগত চালো muscular dystrophy হ'ব এই গুটেখিনি ভালকে চাবা ৰিজনটো চাবা মেইনলি কিয় হয় হলে তোমালোকৰ কি symptoms হয় and if there is a cure for it okay if there is a cure and prevention for it side হবা হ'ব এই তিনটা পইণ্ট সাইড হলে হল তোমালোকে সব কোৱেশ্চন সলভ কৰিব পাৰিবা so into osteoporosis কি হ'ব osteo means what osteocytes osteoporosis কি হ'ব related to bone হ'ব হয় না নাই so this is characterized by your decreased bone mass and fractures decreased bone mass কি হয় osteoporosis তোমালোকৰ calcium deficiency হয় yes this occurs due to your calcium deficiency and sometimes only calcium deficiency নহয় কেতিয়াবা তোমালোকৰ with age হ'ব পাৰে sometimes with age sometimes with your gender specific because this kind of condition osteoporosis is more common to your women why because we women suffer from your I can say not suffer actually we women go through your menstrual cycle and lot of calcium lot of your iron is lost during our menstruation and when a woman reaches her menopause she becomes more prone to developing these conditions because her calcium level decreases inside her blood and since calcium level decreases and we know that bones require calcium yes bones are made up of calcium and phosphorus so bones become porous that means it become very fragile thus leading to your fractures and your different kind of you can say bone injury yes bone injury becomes very much common ঠিক আছে মনত হবো osteoporosis তোমালোকৰ porosis তোমালোক ৰাখিবা মানে it becomes pore like বহুত লাইট হৈ যায় bones কেডাল ঠিক আছে bones কেডাল তোমালোকৰ বহুত লাইট হৈ যায় it feels like air is filled inside your bone not your bone cavity but air is filled ঠিক আছে হেনুকা বন কি হ'ব easily fragile হয় easily breakable হয় fragile হৈ যায় হয় না নাই fragile বা তোমালোকে ক'ব পাৰা brittle easily breakable okay এটা সোয়া মই কৈছিলো নহয় ম্যাথটা ফলোইং কৰিম আমি ডিফারেন্ট কাইন্ড অফ কন্ডিশন ইট ইজ ইম্পর্টেন্ট ঠিক আছে এই গুটি কেটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট হয় সো কি হয় কোৱাচোন আমি সলভ কৰো এটা আটাকে you have to match the disorders okay you have to match the disorders these are the characteristic হবো first to কি আছে tetany is what tetany is nothing but this is low calcium induced contraction muscle contraction তোমালোকৰ difficulty হয় tetanus তোমালোকৰ ঠিক আছে muscle contraction difficulty হয় বা কেতিয়াবা তোমালোকৰ কি হয় hyper contraction হয় so if you have noticed some people they show a involuntary movement of their left eye or you can say left side of their mouth okay it keeps on jerking yes it keeps on jerking that condition is nothing but that condition is I cannot now mimic okay I cannot mimic actually I would have shown you but I hope তোমালোকে বুজি পাইছা মই কি কৈছো কি হয় সবা কেতিয়াবা তোমালোক কিছুমান মানুহৰ তেওঁলোকৰ কন্ট্ৰোলত নাথাকে হেকিনি ওকে তেওঁলোকৰ লেফট আইটো ব্লিংক কৰি থাকিব নহলে বা হিয়তৰ লেফট সাপোজ দিস সাইড ওকে দিস ইজ মাই লেফট সাইড ওকে লেফট লিপস ইট উইল গো মানে উপৰতল হৈ থাকিব হেনেকুৱা কন্ডিশন দেখিছে চাগে কিছুমান মানুহৰ হেতু তোমালোকৰ কি হয় দিস ইজ নাথিং বাট দিস ইজ your tetany okay and কি হয় tetany তোমালোকৰ since calcium is in okay low calcium is induced low calcium হোৱা বাবে তোমালোকৰ contraction to controlত নাথাকে okay contraction of some muscles are not in control হ'ব কিন্তু তোমালোকৰ ইনভলন্টাৰি হৈ থাকে হেতু তোমালোকৰ কন্ডিশন tetany বুলি কোৱা হয় ঠিক আছে arthritis I think জানা সকলো arthritis this is the inflammation of your joint okay arthritis this is the inflammation of your joint okay mainly তোমালোকৰ joint pain হয় it can be if not treated at the earlier stage কি হয় তোমালোকৰ এটো acute pain হয় ঠিক আছে এনে তোমালোকৰ acute pain হয় যদি তোমালোকৰ ট্ৰিটমেন্ট নকৰা গৈ কিনে তোমালোকৰ chronic pain হ'ব chronic pain হলে তোমালোকৰ কি কয় arthritis বুলি কোৱা হয় এই কন্ডিশনটো ঠিক আছে usually again তোমাৰ arthritis কি হ'ব তোমাৰ arthritis তোমালোকৰ again different conditions হ'ব পাৰে তোমালোকৰ age specific হ'ব পাৰে age লৈ তুমি মানে age বাঢ়িব arthritis হোৱাৰ তোমালোকৰ risk বেছি বাঢ়িব again gender specific তোমালোকৰ womenৰ বেছি হ'ব পাৰে arthritis because of many reasons body density body surface area তাৰপিছত তোমালোকৰ again menopause all these conditions contribute to your arthritis ঠিক আছে myasthenia gravis কি হয় again myasthenia gravis this is nothing but this is an autoimmune disorder okay autoimmune disorder ঠিক আছে autoimmune neuromuscular junction disorder ঠিক আছে muscular dystrophy আমি চালো already এটো তোমালোকৰ কি হয় skeletal muscle ডিজেনাৰেশ্যন হয় ঠিক আছে স্কেলেটাল মাসল ডিজেনাৰেশ্যন হয় ওকে এটা তোমালোকৰ কি হয় দিস ইজ অলসো আ জেনেটিক ডিসঅর্ডার মাসকুলার ডিস্ট্রফি দিস ইজ অলসো আ জেনেটিক ডিসঅর্ডার ওকে now which protein forms the thick filament কি হয় thick filament দুটা আছিল মই কৈছিলো thin filament কি পাবা actin troponin tropomyosin whereas your thick filament কি পাবা myosin পাবা yes myosin this is the protein that forms your thick filament okay ঠিক আছে okay now the z line bisect z line তোমালোকক কোনটো bisect কৰে this is again from your sliding filament theory yes sliding filament theory so the z line will bisect your I band হয় না z line bisects your I band ঠিক আছে and again কি হ'ব তোমালোকৰ contraction relaxation কি হ'ব between sarcomere this is the so sarcomere তোমালোকৰ কি হয় sarcomere this is the unit exposing between two z lines this is the region between your two z lines হয় না two z lines আৰু তোমালোকৰ এটো তোমালোক during contraction you know the A band remain constant whereas your H zone will decrease during contraction আৰু Z line তোমালোকৰ I band টো খলাই dissect কৰে ঠিক আছে I band টো খলাই dissect কৰিব ball and socket joint is present in ball and socket joint type of joint very easy question হয় না নাই এতিয়া কি জানিবলৈ কৈছো ball and socket joint আমি সকলো জানো যে this is present in your shoulder blade and that is the reason why you know we can move our shoulder in a 180 degree yes we can move our shoulder in a 180 degree that means ball and socket joint provides the maximum flexibility of all the joints ball and socket joint provides the maximum flexibility in our body ঠিক আছে reason কি হয় reason নহয় actually মই কব খুজিছো shoulder আমি shoulder blade আমি যে move কৰিব পাৰো in 180 degree we can move our hand yes try কৰিব ক'লে তোমালোকে yes হয় নাই মই না দেখাও বাৰু ইয়াতে anyways so কিয় হয় because of the presence of this kind of joint হ'ব okay তাৰ পিছত the H zone contains okay H zone contains কি থাকে H zone এখন তোমালোকৰ সো এখন তোমালোকৰ একদম you know NCERT based question হয় কিছুমান question ঠিক আছে মই বাৰু তোমালোকক মেনশন কৰা নহল still মই কৈ দিছো this is again your NCERT based question sliding filament theory তো ভালকে পঢ়িবা ঠিক আছে মই কৈছো তোমালোকক sliding filament theory is very important হেকিন তোমালোকৰ যদি কনসেপ্ট গুটে কনসেপ্ট তোমালোকৰ ক্লিয়াৰ থাকে হয়নে গুটেখিনি কোৱেশ্চনস কৰিব পাৰিবা সো here the answer will be thick filament H zone only thick filament পাবা মানে কি পাবা myosin protein পাবা মানে thin filament নোপোৱা ঠিক আছে then which iron is essential for muscle contraction কোনটো হয় which iron is essential for muscle contraction again this is very important question it is very important হয় বহুতে কনফিউজ কৰিবা সোডিয়াম মাছত কনফিউজ কৰিবা পটাছিয়াম মাছত কনফিউজ কৰিবা হয়নে নাই সো সোডিয়াম পটাছিয়াম মই কৈছো this is your they are responsible for your nerve impulse conduction resting potential active potential হয়নে নাই আমি কৰিলো অলপ আগত resting potential তোমালোকৰ কি হয় সোডিয়াম ইনফ্লাক্স বাহিৰত বেছি থাকিব হয়নে আৰু ভিতৰত কি থাকিব ইনসাইড অফ দা সেল পটাছিয়াম থাকিব বেছিকে যেটি তোমালোকৰ এক্টিভ পটেনশিয়াল হ'ব যোনটো তোমাৰ পজিটিভ ভ্যালু হয় হেতু কি হ'ব হেতু অপোজিট হ'ব পটাছিয়াম বাহিৰত যাব potassium will go outside sodium will come inside the cell হয় না so sodium potassium নহয় sodium potassium তোমালোকৰ nerve conduction বা nerve impulse তোমালোকৰ help কৰে whereas in case of a muscle contraction it is your calcium ion sorry in case of a muscle contraction this is your calcium ion okay remember hobo ekhini tar pisot next sliding filament theory was proposed by some koisil no sliding filament theory to bhalke poriba this is important okay this is very important yar agora questions what to tumalokor mane I can say 90% you have chance of being asked questions from sliding filament theory if you get a question from this chapter okay locomotion and movement into chapter 2 hoy so etu bhalke pohiba thik ase yete scientist name hodise this is your this is proposed by your Huxley and Hansen milikine tumaloko sliding filament disile that explains the contraction and relaxation of our muscle fiber okay tar pisot these are some factual questions okay sorry okay so এইবোৰ questions তোমালোকৰ factual questions হয় তোমালোকে মন ৰাখিব লাগিব longest bone in the human body is কোনটো হয় longest bone femur yes longest bone is femur where we are going to find this bone is present in your thigh bone okay femur is nothing but this is your thigh bone this is the longest bone and shortest bone ki hoy shortest bone staple hoy na shortest bone staple hoy. This is found in your ear ossicle paba. Okay, ear ossicle you will find the shortest bone in your body. Yes, staple. So next question, the vertebral column of an adult human consists of kiman thake vertebral column kiman thake total bones, number of bones is your 26 bones. Yes, 1 second. Okay, vertebral column, it's not 26, it's 33 he hobo lage. Itu baru moi new remove korisu. So vertebral column tomaloke 33 bones. So yes, it is not 26 bones, it is 33 bones. Hoine nai, vertebral column it consists of 33 bones, and vertebral column it protects your spinal cord. Hoine nai, it protects your spinal cord from injury, from shock absorber. And vertebral column mainly these are made of your cartilage, not bones. Okay, these are made of your cartilage, because cartilage this provides flexibility to the vertebral column. Okay, rigid no hoy because flexibility dorkar. And since vertebral column is also this also it is combined, it is connected with your rib cage. The rib cage again it protects your lungs and heart. Yes, vital organs. So they are made of your cartilage, thik ase, not your bones. Okay, so so this was the last question. Hobo আমি daily class কৰিম একেদিন, ঠিক আছে? তোমালোকৰ এখিনি মই zoology section খিনি cover কৰিম, হ'ব? And after we have covered all the chapters, right? তাৰপিছত আমি এটা marathon series ৰাখিম, গুটেইখিনি তোমালোকক গুটেইখিনিতে rapid revision কৰাম, ঠিক আছে? Almost you can say 200 questions এটা ক্লাছত আমি কৰিম, 2 hours of class হ'ব এটা, ঠিক আছে? সেইখিনি তোমালোকে please attend কৰিবা. I want you all to attend the class, ঠিক আছে? মই তোমালোকক schedule দি দিম. But yes, আজিৰ কাৰণে this was enough. So 3 chapters we have covered today from your human physiology unit, and 8 unit তোমালোকৰ ইয়াতে শেষ হ'ল, ঠিক আছে? আমি next class again তোমালোকৰ from your class 12 syllabus আমি chapters কৰিম, ঠিক আছে? তাৰে তোমালোকৰ human reproduction chapter টো already কৰিছো মই from your class 12 syllabus, right? এইখিনি তোমালোকৰ class 11 syllabus is complete with this lecture. And so in my next class we will start with your class 12 syllabus, that is your reproductive health. আমি হেতু পৰা start কৰিম, okay? So I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, and if you have found this video helpful, please do share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Okay, students, everyone, thank you everyone, and bye bye.